Welcome back to the Blasphemous Cinema Podcast. I'm your host, Jake, and with me today is, of course, my trustworthy co-host, Addison, newly married man.
Yes, sir.
So, congratulations to our beloved Hannah. Shout out Hannah, legend. Um,
Legend.
yeah, we celebrated your wedding um, about a month ago now,
Yep.
and one of the happiest days of my life. Phenomenal time. Um, Yeah, it's fantastic. Um, so we had a little bit of a stretch where we weren't uploading as much, but we're back and we're here to talk about a lot.
Oh
We
yeah.
got we got Obsession, Backrooms, OG Faces of Death, and the new Faces of Death.
And we were
Um,
gonna do the girl with the dragon tattoo, but we decided to push that off just because we have all these new
we'll do that next. We'll do
releases.
that.
Yeah. Just because we have all these new ones that are this new wave of horror coming in.
Yeah, so Addison texted me, was like, "Hey, I still need to see Backrooms and Obsession. Why don't I just go see those movies and we'll do a big episode?" And with the little bit of a gap that we had, that was perfect. We got
Exactly.
lots to talk about. We're in a very interesting situation here. Um, me, big fan of Obsession. Liked Backrooms, didn't love it. Um, Mr. Addison here went yesterday. Saw Obsession and Backrooms back to back. Did Hannah go to both of them or just the second one?
No, she just did Backrooms.
Yeah. Um, it was not a good day at the cinema for
No.
him. um, very. We have lots to talk about. I I didn't
Where do you
really
want to start?
care.
That's the real question. Do you
I
want to start with
I didn't.
Backrooms or Obsession?
Um, we'll start with Backrooms, but like for me, I I just wanted you to like Obsession. I didn't really care if you liked Backrooms or not. I think Backrooms is a perfectly fine movie, and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't head over heels for it. Um, so we'll start there. Um, do you have any familiarity with um, the old web series and all that stuff?
I mean, slightly. I think I only saw the original short film, the Backrooms found footage one. I didn't see any of the other like videos, all the series that he did, and I never played
Yeah,
any of the games or anything like that.
yeah. For me, it was I've seen the original one and some of the web series. So when it was announced that we're kind of getting a Backrooms movie, I was like, okay, very interesting. I don't know necessarily that we need it, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
It did feel a little
Um,
bit like one of those like cultural grab bag
oh
things where it's
yeah,
like we just have to make it. It's like,
yeah, oh
well,
yeah,
do we need it?
absolutely.
No, we just have to make it.
And even crazier is who's attached to the movie. Renat Ransva, our
hmm
beloved queen, is starring in it. Like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yep.
Um, then, what's his name?
It was
Uh,
also like produced by Osgood Perkins, James Wan, and what was it, Jason Blum or there was another big horror person
yeah.
involved in it. I don't, it might not have been
Um,
him.
Chit. I'm gonna butcher this name. Um, Chiwet, dude. Chiwetel Ejiofor, the guy in the film, the other
hmm
main guy. Mark Duplass. So it's like one star power is there. You got two great actors at the helm. Then, yeah, I mean, you have a 20-year-old making his directorial debut. It's being backed by A24, and then all of a sudden, like I remember when it was after it was done being made, like it like reports started coming out like, oh yeah, actually Osgood Perkins is like helping produce and like a bunch of other names.
And James
Um,
Bond, just because I know Atomic Monster was
yeah.
his.
Then Sean Levy was attached to it
Sean
too.
Levy, that was the other one.
Yeah,
Jason
yeah,
Blum is Obsession. Blumhouse bought Obsession. That's
yes.
right.
Um, so there's a lot that's attached to this. You know, you have the background with it, but then like, you know, they went they went full speed ahead with this.
They saw that money bag and they got it too.
Hey, I'm so happy for my girl, Renate Franzva. Love her.
It's the
Would
biggest
die for her.
A24 film I think ever.
Yes, it is. So based on the Backrooms creepypasta, you know, it's very liminal space. The movie sets it up as our main character, whose name is Clark. He's a furniture store owner, and his therapist is Renat Ransva's character. And he discovers that there's a gateway in his furniture store that goes to the back rooms. And it just keeps on going on and on and on. He's in the middle of divorce, and this being thrown into his life is driving him nuts. But like obviously, like it is happening, but he just doesn't want to come off as a crazy person.
Yeah.
So um, she gets roped into it. His workers get roped into it, and so like you get, the film opens with a found footage sequence. Um, then you go par for course and like setting up everything. You get another film. You get another found footage sequence a little bit later on. Then then you get a lot of like the actually like you're in there with the things that are in there. Because there's things in there and they're cake.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I
Who gives a shit? I mean, stuff like
okay,
that where I
so
was just like,
okay,
all right, dude.
okay, so um, I liked Backrooms. Didn't love it. I think um, there's some sequences that I thought were very effective. I liked the subtle humor around like the therapist character and just a lot of things like with the furniture store and stuff like that. Um, the the ending of the film is kind of a mixed bag for me, and like the reveal. Um, so overall, I'm not in love with it by any means. I think this is a solid directorial debut for a um, 20-year-old, now 21. But that's my opinion. And your opinion is vastly different.
Yeah,
So
I
break it
mean,
down here.
yeah.
Break it down here.
It has some fun moments. I really like the found footage moments. I think it's interesting when it's much more like the Jaws thing where it's like it's better to not show and it's better to not tell. Just like let stuff play out in
Yeah.
suspense traps and everything. That is all very interesting. But as soon as you start getting the characters talking and as soon as you start involving the evil corporation that also doesn't know what's going on and they're researching and have cameras everywhere, it's when it kind of just starts getting a little hokey. And that's also how the ending falls apart to me also. And
Yeah.
I mean my least favorite part is all the therapy speech stuff where it's like,
Really
yeah, the whole therapy thing just doesn't really work for me. The
interesting.
fact that he's like a furniture store owner who wants to be an architect, and this whole thing, his whole spiral out bases around the fact of like the whole reasoning behind the story just to me just felt so ridiculous and so like such a big
Mhm.
reach. Where he's not really an alcoholic, but he is an alcoholic. His wife wants to leave him, but it's she's in his house. He's staying at the furniture store. He has to work a lot, but he's a failed architect. And it's kind of like, and then you have to add the therapist stuff in on top of all that. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like Kane Parsons just kept adding and adding and adding. It's like we need this, and it's like you need to subtract more. There's
Uh,
too much stuff going on that doesn't have anything to do with the actual Backrooms, and then none of this
yeah.
stuff is really needed at all. For the
Hmm.
interesting thing about your movie is the Backrooms, and
Yeah.
you're just stuffing these characters with shit that does not matter whatsoever to
Yeah.
try and fill them out, and it's one of those things where it's like you've gone too far now. It's just kind of reaching to a point.
My the one therapy thing that I really liked was them um basically playing Renat Ronsville's character, the therapist, playing his wife, and then him playing as himself and staging an argument. I thought that was I thought that was pretty good, and it happens two times, one in the back rooms, one at the beginning, and I think it works pretty well in terms of both of their performances that make it work. Um, and I do like how you see her in her working space, and you feel like this is a therapist, who's making her way, but like she has a book, and she's like very kind of marketing herself as something more when she's kind of not. And the marketing behind it's very funny, and I liked that. Um, so did those like conversations of like them reenacting like an argument not work for you?
Well, the other problem with the whole situation of me doing a double feature is that I had to sit there and I saw kind of the similar thing in Obsession also, where I guess it's the fact that it's these YouTubers who are coming into this going to make a feature film, and you can
Yeah,
tell that neither one of them seem to really like movies or really care about movies that much. And it's one of those things where it's like both of them have complete foreshadowing for what their final thing is going to be, and that's a metaphor. Like Obsession is the cat.
yeah,
Like the cat, the same thing happens to Bear on the floor. Like it's literally the exact same thing. And then in this one, it's the argument scene. It's like it all leads back to the thing we already saw at the beginning.
yeah.
And
I
it's just that's very YouTubey, where it's like, look, it's a closed loop. Look, we're going full
Yeah,
circle, and it's like, all right, you turned a YouTube video into a feature film. I'm proud of you. But also at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, why do we have all this in here? Like, why is the therapy person? We're also seeing all of her trauma with the mom, and then we're
yeah,
also seeing her trying to be a self help person, while all trying to link back to Clark. And
yeah,
then it all has to feed back into this conversation that they have in the back rooms, where he's trying to play out this whole scenario just for them to get to the point where he's like in such a self denial, where he's like, we don't have to
yeah,
change. It's like
yeah.
it just feels like it's an empty, like hollow argument. Like I just don't feel like there's anything actually coming out of it, if that
You
makes
know,
sense.
it does, and I think there's I'm finding validation for sure in the point of like there's not much coming out of that, because like eventually it's just character building rather than like we're going somewhere with it.
Yeah, like it's like you said, like I guess character building, but it feels like it's character building in the sense like we're just building it just for it to be there,
Yes.
not actually
Yes.
for a
100%
reason.
agree.
Like it's
Yes.
like he was scared that people would be like they're so shallow, they're two dimensional because they don't have enough depth. So he was just like, what if I added three layers
Well,
to
let me
every
add,
character in
yeah.
the movie?
Yeah.
And it's like we're
Um
here for the back rooms, dude.
yeah. And I do kind of agree with the point of like the YouTube thing being a closed loop. Absolutely. What I will say is kind of knowing from what I've seen about Curry Baker, the man loves movies. He he definitely is a movie person. I just think that it's still very early for him.
I
He's
mean, maybe
probably
he just hasn't seen that much, but I mean, it's like I listened to interviews with Kane Parsons and Curry, and it's like neither one of them can barely name like five movies that are inspired him at all. It's all like the
um
same three ones, and they can't say anything else. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, and I really like video games and these shorts, and I
yeah.
really like these videos I saw online." And it's like, you guys don't even really
I
watch movies.
I think with Curry it's going to be a thing where he's very much going to get out of his YouTube makeup. I don't know necessarily how I feel the same with Kane. Um, Backrooms just kind of has like a fair amount of money behind it.
Oh yeah, he had a lot more money than Obsession, and I
Um,
think that
so
was one of its downfalls.
so it's going to be very interesting to see where they go as filmmakers. I have more faith that Curry is going to actually make it as a filmmaker and kind of transition away from a YouTube background. I don't know necessarily the thing about Kane. I think there is some ideas there that are very strong, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think his
I think you're right though. I mean, I think Curry probably has a much higher probability of being successful with
yeah,
film. But my thing is his movie actually aggravates me more ethically
interesting.
than Kane Parsons. Kane's just feels more of just like it's just not enough. Like he just doesn't have enough going, and it just feels like he's stretched out, literally a
Yeah,
YouTube thing, and he just had to add stuff in because he was like, "Well, it needs to be a feature, so it can't be like my YouTube Shorts." But all the
yeah,
moments where it is like my YouTube Shorts, they're gonna cook, but then everything else is gonna
yeah.
be kind of flat. And then Curry, it's kind of just like his movie really his movie feels more empty to me, and it actually pisses me off more, the ethics of
Interesting, because I do think
yeah.
that there is the more I've sat in Obsession, there's more going on that I necessarily realized off the bat. But let's stay on Backrooms real quick. I think Kane's direction is fine. The ideas are there. I think my favorite sequence in the movie is like the first time that they go down into the back rooms um, with Clark and his workers,
Hmm.
and you getting that like found footage sequence. I think that sequence is very effective. Like the first time seeing one like the Christmas tree guy, loved
Yeah,
it. Big
the lamp
fan.
guy.
Yeah, big fan. And then like you see the other thing, and it's like okay, this sequence is, in my opinion, I loved that sequence. Loved it. Um, but with like the ending, I a very mixed bag on it. I don't necessarily love that it's like a huge corporation behind it, but I do like the idea that they themselves still have no idea. Like they're doing research, but they still have no grasp on this thing. So I like that little aspect of it, but I still don't like that turned into, oh yeah, corporations working behind
Yeah, the
like
big
like
corporation
studying
thing
this
is
thing.
it's always so annoying. Like it's such a trope at this point where it's like the big corporation is doing something shady, and it's like okay,
I'm just glad that it wasn't, oh, this big corporation made it.
yeah.
And that's I'm if it was gonna be that, I was gonna be so pissed.
I mean, it is more interesting that it's cosmic, but at the same time, it already kind of explains itself. Like it's a mirror
Yeah,
kind of dimension that absorbs everything that it basically
yeah,
sees, and it imitates it in an
yeah.
off way.
And
And I mean, I
that's
get
all
that
you
you
need.
see
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, I mean, you already kind of have the explanation within the movie. The thing that it's just, I think you just reveal. I just think he reveals too much, but also doesn't give enough at the same time, which is kind of a weird situation that you don't really see that much in movies.
Yeah. Very fair. Um how do you feel performance wise from both Elijah Four and Ransva?
I mean, I actually think they're incredible. I mean, they're not bad at all. I think the fact that they made most of those scenes work with that very kind of basic script and everything, I think they did great with the material that they had.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
did you like the reveal
100%.
of Peg Leg? Because I didn't really jive with him being the main entity in there that was killing stuff. I thought that was kind of a lame reveal too. Very anticlimactic to me.
Um
Like I get that it's him from the commercial, and it's
I
altered, but I didn't really think it was a good reveal.
I I like that he's in there. I don't know necessarily if I like him being the main one.
Yeah, like the big bad. I was hoping for something
Yeah,
a little more, or just don't show it
I
to me.
one of my favorite moments in the film is when she gets out of the back rooms and she's trying to leave the department store and it turns back and you have that wide shot of the furniture store and
Yeah,
you can just see him standing in the background and he's
yeah,
not moving, he's just very much blending into it and he feels like he's a part of the actual furniture store in a very natural way and like I love that moment so much. But yeah, like neither here or there on him being. I don't necessarily think we. I don't. Yeah, I don't know necessarily how I feel about like the Backrooms having like one big bad essentially.
yeah.
Um,
Like, I mean, maybe there is
but
more in there, but I think it'd be interesting if you'd rather just be like, yeah, there's so many entities in here, and
there's
you just
so
won't
many,
show
you
them,
just
just
never know
won't
what
show
you're
them
gonna
to you.
get.
Yeah, and more like The Mist. Like, if you played it more like The Mist, where it's like you see silhouettes and more like shadows, and you don't actually reveal anything to me, I'd be a
Yeah.
lot more interested in it then. But
Hmm.
show me that it's just like all right, it's him, altered, of
Yeah.
course. That's kind of like, okay.
I do think it was hilarious. Like, so she's at the table, they're all there. Um, I don't know. I thought like it's like the meme, but like them like the entities inside can be eaten, and it's like, oh, they're cake almost essentially. I thought that was funny. I was just like, I didn't expect that. Like I don't necessarily think it's effective. I just think it's a funny tidbit. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a one of those things where it's like, why? I don't know why. All right.
Yeah. Um, I guess I this is probably gonna get a sequel.
Oh, for sure. It made so much money. There's no way they're not going to make another one.
I I would say that I would almost prefer that might be handed off to someone else
I
to
mean, it probably
get.
won't be though.
Yeah, I would really like more of like a fresh pair of eyes to kind of do something different the next time around.
Well, it's his baby. Like it's
I
Kane's
know,
baby. I
yeah,
know he didn't come
yeah,
up with the idea or like the original photo and all that, but like the series and all of that was all him. And it's
yeah,
kind of like I don't think they're going to give it off to anyone else. And I think he's already talked about how he has this whole like basically Marvel plan layout for these.
wait, really?
Yeah, because he said the movie and the series all tie together, and that
Yeah, yeah,
he knows like how everything ends and everything. So I was like, okay, so you're basically just you want a TV show, dude. Like you just make a TV show. That sounds like that's kind of like the ultimate thing.
okay.
Because he even said
And
he was like it's much more scheduled and like line to be a show, but they wanted a movie. So it's like you don't even want a movie, dude.
yeah,
Everything
um,
he says aggravates me. That's to the point that it's like
that's funny.
anytime he opens his mouth, I'm like, you need to be quiet.
um, I did, like I said, I walk away from this movie. Liked it, did love it. I guess I'm sat for whatever comes next, just to see more, rather my curiosity more than rather excitement.
Yeah,
Um, I do hope. I really would really like for Kane to, you know, up the bar for himself next time around and turn out something better because the potential's there in
I
terms
will
of
say
like the
from a
property
technical, yeah,
itself. Like the property itself, the potential's there to make an awesome movie.
and I think from
Um,
a technical standpoint, I don't know if it was this is more or less his crew or of him, but I mean the movie looks good, it sounds good, great score.
yes.
Like from a technical perspective, very well
Oh, the
made. I just
score's
have
fantastic.
Yeah, the problem with Backrooms is all of the substance of it and all the narrative beats and choices. But I think from a
Yeah,
technical level, it's very well made. I don't know how much credit that can go to him for, but you know,
yeah, phenomenal score. I mean, the score is done by Ito Van Bremen and King Parsons. So they both cooked there. Cinematography by Jeremy Cox, also very good. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed the technical aspects of it for sure. I land at like a 3.3, round up to a 3.5. That's where I'm at. Um, you're much lower. You're much lower than that too. Yeah.
Too.
Um, so couple weeks beforehand, Obsession comes out. I'm gonna give a little background on this. Uh, I saw so initially when they like were showing teasers for this movie, it was like I don't know if you saw him, but like it was like just the clip of him in the car on the phone talking about the One Wish Willow,
Oh yeah.
and instantly my thought was, and then I saw it was Blumhouse. I was like, um, usually this doesn't necessarily bode well for confidence is what in what they're marketing. If they're just gonna show a little clip as like the main teaser and it's like it's coming out soon. I don't know just necessarily how confident they are in what they're putting out.
Yeah.
Um, so my first thought was like, well, this thing's gonna be garbage. If they're not confident behind it, I guess it's probably that bad. Um, full trailer releases. Okay. Um, looks a lot more interesting than I gave it credit for. Um, then I saw, people who were early seeing it, big fans. I was like, okay, I guess, my initial thoughts were incorrect. I hopefully we're seeing for something good. Um, sat down, experienced this movie, very big fan. And I become a bigger fan of it by the day. Um, that's my backstory on it. Addison saw it yesterday,
I
and
had the
he also
exact
did not
opposite
like.
backstory.
Yeah, yeah, he also did not like this one either.
I had the exact opposite backstory because I've known about Obsession since last year when it did its circuit at film festivals, and everyone was blowing up my feed at
Uh,
film festivals talking about how amazing it was, and then a whole bidding war happened over it, and
yeah,
Blumhouse was the one to end up winning the distribution deal for it, and everyone was just talking about how it was like the next big thing and how it was absolutely incredible, and then I watched it and I was like, no, it is not the next big thing, and it is not incredible.
I mean, technically, money-wise, it is. It
I
was the
mean,
next big thing
it didn't.
from a
It
money
that's what
perspective.
for
Yeah,
that's what I mean for this new wave of horror. It and Backrooms are both pretty big. Which I don't know. They just make me feel old. I guess maybe I just feel old and I'm out of touch now. But neither one of these movies did it for me. So
um, yeah. I mean, let's get into it. Back obsession. Um, we're following Bear, who has a crush on his coworker, um, and he gets the idea to, well, he's in a just a gift shop to get her a gift because she's leaving their place of work. Um, there's a One Wish Willow, which is like a willow branch. You break it, your wish probably doesn't come true, but it works. Um, then so he wishes that Nikki is loves him more than anything, and it works. And but to the
was it loves
worst
him more
degree,
than anything in the world? Is that what he said?
yeah.
Or anyone in
Um,
the
and
world?
and it turns out to be disastrous. Of course, it's a horror movie. Of course, it's gonna be disastrous in under a horror context. Um, I think yes, both of these movies are made by previous YouTubers, I think Barker um, knows how to make certain situations extremely effective when it comes to suspense and tension. I think what he does with Nikki, directional wise, um, worked so well for me in terms of like lighting, framing, um, and then that obviously goes hand in hand with Indy Neverett's performance of Nikki. She's phenomenal. Um, where during this whole movie, I feel like I have a basically a boot on my throat, basically saying, yeah, just has me. I don't even know what struggling this entire movie. It's very uncomfortable. Um, and it doesn't let up. From as soon as it kind of gets into the thick of it, it doesn't let up. I'm uncomfortable the entire time, and it doesn't make you feel good. In my opinion, in the best way possible of that. Um, I think my favorite thing that Curry Barker does in this film is, yeah, the stuff with Nikki, and like all the like there's certain shots of like her standing on the porch after the willow works, and she's just clouded in darkness. She shows up at his house and he opens the door. She's completely shrouded in darkness, but like he kind of does like a little bit of the Blade Runner replicant eye thing where you see like the glints in her eyes,
Yeah.
and I thought that was such a cool touch. And then you have all the weird um, stuff that she does with the flower vase and her weird body motions, that make this movie extremely creepy and unsettling. And like I said, I'm not having a good time. I don't feel well mentally watching this movie. Um, so I think, for as simple as a concept that it is, I think Curry Barker, he may have not hit a home run, but he hit a triple, and he did a damn good job with it. Um, but that's my perspective. As perspective is completely different. So let's go to him and break it down for me.
I get from. I guess I'll just get out of the way that I
Okay.
think Indy's performance
Yeah.
is not the problem here. Her performance is incredible.
Yep.
She's great. So now put that off to the side.
Yep.
The problem with
Proper
this
context to
movie,
say, yeah.
the problem with this movie to me is everything else surrounding Nikki as a character.
Okay.
This movie
Yep.
absolutely hates Nikki as a character.
Yeah,
And I
I agree.
think that is its biggest downfall because there is no payoff whatsoever. And this reminds me of another movie that I do not like called Talk to Me, where another
Oh, yeah.
YouTubers, here we go, more
Yeah.
YouTubers
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
movies, and they're like, how shock and awe, mean spirited, and just pure nihilist can we take this? And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. What are you trying to tell me?
Yeah.
What are you trying? What's your story about? What are you actually trying to give me? And it's nothing. You're just giving me shock and awe, misery
It's
porn, and it's like
it's
this is bullshit.
see,
You're not
that's where
giving
I
me
would
anything.
disagree. Curry is absolutely giving us stuff. It's a story about, a nice guy's fantasy, and him completely stripping away her bodily autonomy as a person who has, hopes and dreams and very much her own self. And yeah, just the male taking away her complete bodily autonomy for his for his selfishness.
Yeah, you're absolutely
And
right. That is exactly what he
yeah,
does.
yeah.
and then the movie frames her as the horror thing for the entire movie. You see the entire
Yes.
movie from Bear's perspective, but
Yeah.
really it's only a horror movie for Nikki.
Yeah.
Ethically, that's
That.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I have a problem with that, first of all. It's showing you that she is the thing to be scared of, when in reality, Bear is the issue.
No. Yeah.
And then the
There.
ending of the movie
Yes.
is the worst part about it, because what does Nikki want the entire time? She wants her body back, she can't get it back. And then, through the spell of this entity taking her body that she's been prisoner for this entire time and being taken for, she does a double murder and then has to deal with a suicide, and then she
Yeah.
cannot die in the end, and then she is left there having to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
And the end of the movie, she's fucked either way. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are you telling me? There's no payoff. She does not get out of anything. It's literally just, hey, she's screwed. She's been screwed since the 5th minute of the movie. Guess what?
Yeah.
Did you have fun? No. What are you telling me? What am I supposed to get out of that?
I mean, I think, rightfully, we're supposed to obviously get out of the movie that, Bear is obviously the villain in this story.
And he gets away with it. He gets to die. He gets no punishment whatsoever.
I agree. And I think that it's just one of those situations where it's like kind of like an Eden Lake situation where, it's incredibly mean spirited, and guess what? There is no hope in sight at all. And you're not going to get any of it.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, what is the point, man?
I mean, that is the point.
That's what I mean. That's literally what I mean. It's like, if you're into nihilism, yeah, this movie's all for you, I guess. But I mean, it's like, am I supposed to be entertained by this? Is it supposed to be fun to watch? There was absolutely no fun or entertainment to be had here.
Yeah, but like everything's
and
so
the message is you just being mean spirited. It's like, I get nothing out of this, dude. That's what I mean. Like, I mean, it's
so, like,
it's
okay, so I can.
A lot of people can get some stuff out of it, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But for me, I'm not getting anything out of this.
That's kind of like perfectly what I wanted to go to as a point, where it's like it seems like it just didn't work for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like what it's so funny. It's what Ryan Gosling says in The Fall Guy. He's like, I just don't think nihilism is a viable worldview.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not. It's not a viable worldview, and I just don't think it's very creatively or narratively satisfying to just be like, hey, what if I am just completely mean-spirited in every respect, and there's no point whatsoever. Like, it just gets worse and worse, and it's a one-trick pony for the whole movie.
Yeah, and I agree with that too, where it's like it's very much one identity,
Well, that's my biggest problem with this and Backrooms. That's again with the YouTube thing. It's like, usually when you have a very either nihilistic horror movie or one that has a worldview like this that is going to tell you something, you get something like Hereditary or like Midsommar or even The Empty Man, where they all rev up to different levels to where you get to this point by the ending where it's like, oh, that's a satisfying conclusion, even if it is very dark and detrimental. These movies, Backrooms and Obsession, stay on one level for the entire time. They never escalate, really. They never evolve. They never turn into anything else. And then it just ends. And it's like, look, we're right back to where we started. It's like, all right. So what was the whole point in the movie then? No character development, no changes, and we're back to where we started. There's no storytelling there. The whole point in storytelling is to get from point A to point B to point C. We went to point A to point A to point A. You see what I'm saying?
He's pissed at Obsession.
That's what I mean. Ethically,
Yeah.
I'm more pissed at Obsession. I think Kane Parsons actually kind of tried with Backrooms, and I just don't think it landed. But ethically, though, Obsession I don't think it even tries. It's just like, hey, look, we're fucked up. Isn't that wild?
So,
Sure.
so let's kind of like put this like at a, comparison with Eden Lake.
Yeah.
What's kind of like the difference there for you?
For Eden Lake. Well,
Yeah.
for Eden Lake, I think it evolves to the point where we go from couple
Yep.
going into a small town, and they think that this little bar area, this little couple, like all that, they're a little off. They're a little off, or they're a
Yep.
little, I guess, closed off as a community. And then you just
Yes.
have the rambunctious teenagers who end up just being ridiculous.
Yep.
So you go from one level of just a little bar community tavern, then you go to teenagers just being ridiculous, and it's like, oh, you can put that
Yep.
on. Oh, it's just teenagers, and then they get away, and then she fights off, and then she ends up killing one in the process. It becomes a whole bloodbath situation,
Yep.
and then you go to find out that it's not just the bar tavern, it's not just the teenagers. The whole town is kind of just in cahoots with each other, and they're not going to
Yep.
let anyone go that could risk getting anyone in trouble. And then
Yeah.
in the end of that movie, she gets taken away, and then you have the boy kind of look directly into the camera at the audience. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that is storytelling. That's actually telling me something, and you actually see an evolution.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you're getting reveals,
Yeah.
and you're getting layers.
Yeah.
I just don't feel that with Obsession.
I I think kind of where I'm gonna, because like what you're saying is I completely agree with. Like the comparison that I set up with Eden Lake, I completely agree with what you're saying there with Eden Lake and Obsession. Um, my thing with Obsession, where the layers are to it, is the dynamics between the friend group. And you, as the movie goes on, you just realize how awful this friend group is, and like all of their, their um all their motives, like just based in selfishness and malice towards each other. Like, you have Megan Lawless as Sarah, who is Bear's and Nikki's friend. She has a crush on Bear, and for her own thing, she set up the rumor that Nikki would friend zone him. Um,
But she
so
did. It
she, yeah.
wasn't even a
So
rumor.
then Cooper as Ian, um, doesn't want Bear to go after her because he's sleeping with her on the side every once in a while. So I think a lot of the layers come within like just like the breaking down of the dynamics of the friend group and kind of seeing how that plays out. It's like, you get the scene of Bear and Sarah in the record shop, like, having like an actual moment where like you can see, what should be happening. Like, if Bear wasn't, the person that he was, like this is what should be happening. And that also leads to, the car scene where, they're obviously have a great dynamic together, and then that's obviously ruined as she gets her head smashed into
But see,
the
this is
steering
what I'm
wheel.
saying, though. This is what I'm saying. What
This is what it's
tell you? Look, Eden Lake. It is telling you that small town communities
Yep.
can be very horrible, and if they get so
Oh
close,
yeah.
they get to the point where they other every other person around them to the
Yeah.
point where it's detrimental and it's like a cancer.
Yeah.
That is telling me something. What is this friend group being fucked up and them just all backstabbing each other telling me? That's not telling me anything. I can watch that on Bravo TV. It's called reality TV. I don't give a shit that she started a rumor that's actually true about her and that she was sleeping with his friend. You're not telling me anything. And none of that still justifies the fact that Nikki has to be trapped in a body for 90 minutes in pure torture and agony. And then guess what? The
Yeah.
movie ends with her still being in torture and agony. So.
These are all fair.
I mean, that. I'm not
Like,
mad that anyone likes this movie. I don't want people
Yeah.
to be like, oh my god, he thinks this is ridiculous and I shouldn't like Obsession. You can like it all you want. I'm just saying, I just don't get the point. And I don't see how. I don't see how this is viable.
that's completely fair.
People can like what they like and people can enjoy what they enjoy. I have nothing against that. I'm personally just, it is what it
He's
is.
just not on board with it.
I'm just not on board with it.
I guess where I want to go from here is how do you feel about like the scenes of horror and tension? Do you feel like Curry Baker is making those scenes effective?
Me and Chandler actually talked about this. We actually both agreed because we were like, I don't really like much of what the movie's going on with, but what he
Yeah,
does good at is the jump scares that you don't actually expect to be jump scares. There's a
mhm,
lot of stuff that you're talking about where he's building
yeah,
suspense and tension, and he's actually utilizing it very well. Like when you see Nikki break the spell for a split
yeah,
second. That is a really that's those are really good moments, and that's actually some of the most
yeah.
horrifying stuff is when you see her dealing with what her body is happening
Go
with,
and
and
yeah.
yeah, that's the most horrifying stuff in the whole movie. And then the scene that everyone talks about is the bedroom scene. That doesn't really do anything to for me personally, just because that's just stolen
The
straight from
one
the
where he's
master.
technically raping her.
No, not that. That one is horrifying. That one's terrible. I'm talking about the scene where she's standing in the corner watching him sleep.
Okay, I think in my
That one isn't
opinion
scary to me because that's just straight from
that
Hereditary.
one's not as what I like the most out of the bedroom scenes is the flower vase.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing, and and again, it just always goes back to the cat for some reason. But the the cat thing aggravates the shit out of me. But the imagery of her holding the vase is very interesting. But once you actually start putting context to it, it's not interesting anymore. But it's stuff like that where it's like I think he's a good image maker. I think he has interesting ideas. I think he plays with suspense and tension in an interesting way. I just think he needs to work on his actual narrative and story beats. But that is the
So
most horrifying scene is the one that you just brought up was when he's basically raping her.
yeah,
That's the most terrifying scene in the whole movie.
yeah. It's very like we've had this issue for a long time, but media literacy with general audiences is truly, we've had, like I said, we've had this issue for a long time, but media literacy with general audiences is awful.
Oh yeah.
Um, and just like, hearing people like be in the movie theater and hearing about experiences of people like laughing at certain scenes that aren't supposed to be funny
Mm.
whatsoever, and just like this whole movie is not like yeah, there is some smidges of humor sprinkled throughout, but it's not a comedy by any stretch of the imagination. Um, People will laugh at things that aren't meant to be laughed at. Like I remember one of my buddies said in his theater, when she is basically standing at the door waiting for him to get back and she pees herself, people thought that was hilarious. And
Oh yeah.
it's just like why are we laughing at that?
Yeah, that's like I didn't really have that much laughter in my
Me
school, so I
either.
didn't really
Me
deal with
either.
any of that luckily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't really see how that would be
I'm just
a
hearing
comedic
people
moment.
come out and not understanding that Bear's the villain, that, obviously that she's the victim. Um, there's a lot of that I've seen on social media and I've heard secondhand, not necessarily experienced as much, but I just wanted to bring it. It's an issue that obviously is still a thing and we're not going to get away from it anytime soon. Just a little anecdote. The worst I personally ever had in terms of experience like that is when I saw Oppenheimer for like the third time and IMAX completely sold out. The scene where um, Robert is in the Oval Office with President Truman,
Yeah.
and you know Robert, like, has this big confessional moment that he just feels awful for what he ended up being responsible for, and then Truman saying basically that, um, calling him a, what did he call him? Do you remember?
Crybaby.
Yeah, and someone laughed at that. I'm like, you're not supposed to laugh at that. like you're supposed to realize, oh shit, this is a fucking awful moment because, our titular character is having this humongous confessional moment to a person he hasn't, met before, but is obviously a pillar of society, like from a, you know, position standpoint, and he
Yeah,
just doesn't care, and he basically calls him a pussy for being
yeah.
responsible for
Supposedly that
the
really happened
death.
too.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah. So that's probably the worst that I've had. That one really pissed me off to the point where, like, when he said that, I literally said out loud, "That's not supposed to be funny."
Yeah, people are
Um,
ridiculous. And I think a lot of people also suffer from the fact that some people are just uncomfortable with silence now. And so as soon as
oh
there's silence,
yeah,
or if they're uncomfortable with something, they just start laughing. And
yeah,
it's like a reaction for them or something. I don't know. It's weird.
yeah. It's ridiculous.
I think that's a new thing where people just don't really like silence just because no one's really
Yeah,
used to it anymore.
and guess what? Just being able to have silent moments is awesome.
It is.
I don't know what you want from me. Guess what? I love silence for long periods of time.
It's nice.
I don't need shit to be all noise all the time. And if you do, you're kind of fucked. Not like you're a fucked person, but like you're not in a good place. Indy Neverett's performance, unbelievable. Bear Michael Johnson's performance as Bear is also very good. Um, People have brought it up, but like there was points during the movie where I got a little distracted of just like thinking they looked like Charlie Kirk. There's a
I
couple
mean, yeah, and he
points where,
sounds like Tom Holland.
yeah, um,
I mean, he's fine. I think everyone's
yeah.
fine. I think Indy's the star. Um, I'd be surprised if she doesn't get breakout roles from here on out. I'm
Oh,
sure this is like a
absolutely.
star maker out of her, but I mean, you know,
Um, so I landed at a 4 on this. Before you give your score, what's your biggest positive out of Obsession? You're not a fan of it, but what's your biggest positive?
I mean, really, the scenes of her breaking through the spell, or the scenes of like where it seems like reality is like tearing between them, like when she goes in reverse and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like stuff like that's really interesting to me. Those are really the only highlights because I like that stuff where it's not really explained and it's kind of really interesting, and the fact that she's kind of on a back seat, I
Yep.
guess, in the passenger seat while some entity is controlling her body. It's just really horrifying to think about, and that she's like snapping in and out. I think that's the most interesting part of the whole movie.
Yeah. Um, 4. What's your score?
2.5.
Just a little bit better than Backrooms.
I like
Just
it
a
more in
little bit better.
Backrooms. Yeah, I like it
Yeah.
more in Backrooms. It's just I didn't like a lot of the ethics of it, but it's one of those things where Curry kind of shot himself in the foot because it's like you can't have all the interesting stuff of her snapping out of the spell if it's from Indy's perspective, but framing her as the scary part of the whole movie, as the horror device, is also not really. I don't really think that really works either. So either way, he's kind of screwed. Like you either can't show one or can't show the other. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, those are the two new releases we just got in the horror pantheon. Um, but I think we're both in agreement where we feel better going forward about Curry.
I think he can have a fascinating career if he kind of gets out of his YouTube zone and kind of expands a little bit on his narrative palette. I think he could be a lot more interesting. Kane is yet to be. He's TBD to be
Um,
determined. We'll see.
so how do you feel about him being Curry being the guy behind the new Texas Chainsaw?
I think that his movie is very nihilistic and mean spirited, so it's kind of a good pick after watching Obsession.
Yes.
Because I mean, the original Texas Chainsaw is pretty nihilistic, even though they actually knew how to end that movie. But, we'll
Yeah.
see if Curry can stick the landing because the ending of the original Texas Chainsaw is, iconic, and the ending of Obsession just kind of pissed me off. So I don't know. We'll see.
Um, he also has another movie coming out called Anything But Ghosts. I'm I'm
I heard that's more like
to
a buddy comedy, so I don't even
um
think that one's really that
it's
much
a
horror based.
well, it's a supernatural horror where two fake paranormal investigators eventually face actual ghosts in their deceptive business.
Yeah, he said he wrote it with his friend before he even wrote Obsession, and he said it's like a
Yeah.
buddy comedy thing. So I don't really think it's gonna be anywhere in the same lane as Obsession, but that'll
Um,
be that'll be a true test of his like directorial stuff if like he's able to kind of go and do something like that kind of genre shift and then go back to Texas Chainsaw.
um, I'm I'm very excited for Texas Chainsaw. Hearing him talk about it, he understands what the original was going for, and he wants to go back to what made that first one so effective. Um, so I have faith. I'm excited for it. Um, I just feel like there's, you know, it's just interesting that we haven't really gotten like the perfect match since the first one. Um,
Yeah,
but you know, is what it is. Um, break real quick. I'm gonna grab something. Then we'll get into Face of Death.
Faces of Death.
Mr. Bob, do you listen to the Rod's new album yet?
No.
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Top three so far this year. Just saying.
I would have never thought in a million years that when this year started, out of Backrooms, Obsession, and Faces of Death,
That Faces of Death would be the one that you're. Yeah. I mean, I just didn't see a situation where the Faces of Death reboot was going to be good.
Neither did I. That was such a sleeper hit. It just came out of nowhere, and I was like, damn.
And it ended up having one of the best concepts you could imagine.
Crazy good concept. Insanely good. A legacy sequel that's making fun of legacy sequels is so funny.
Okay. You ready to get back into it?
Yeah.
All right. We are officially back. Um,
Popping up another cold one. Silver Bullet, he's killing werewolves.
shout out Luca. Shout out Luca. Silver Bullet's his favorite werewolf movie.
That's a fun one.
It is very fun.
Great
Good,
poster. One of the all-time posters.
great graphic novel. Have you read the graphic
I
novel?
haven't read the graphic novel.
Do you know how it came to be?
No.
So initially, it was supposed to just be a calendar
Really?
of just like seasons of like the werewolf or whatever.
Wow.
Then Stephen King ended up writing the graphic novel for it. That ended up being a movie.
That's funny. And that is what you could make as your magic deck. We can get you a werewolf deck.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm in. Just whenever you're ripping packs or whatever, just set a werewolf aside for me.
I think we already have one. We got one today.
All right, then I'm in then.
Is a female werewolf.
Sexy. Could be, depending.
In her wolf form? Is this bestiality podcast now? What are we talking about?
We're talking about Faces of Death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best movie out of all of these.
OG Faces of Death first.
Okay, not the best movie out of all of these.
Hell no.
the
worst. The worst by far.
Here's the thing about the OG Faces of Death, which we can speed run this, and it's just so funny. This movie was made by a documentarian
Yep.
who was approached by a random group of financiers who remained anonymous, who gave him a shit ton of money because they wanted a mono death movie. And he was like,
Yep.
"What does that mean?" And he was like, "We want a movie that just documents people dying." And he was
Yep.
like, "This is really weird. Like, this is some eyes wide shut shit. Why are we? Why is a secret group of people just wanting a movie about just people dying?" And so he took it upon himself to just get archival footage and also reenact scenes of people dying, and then just having random creepy music playing in the background. And he got paid for it, and he changed his name on the movie so he wouldn't even have credit as the director. So it's just really weird circumstances that this movie even exists. And then once it came out, it was banned in like multiple countries because people thought it was real when it's really not.
Yeah, and it gained a very infamous cult following.
Yeah.
Um, so you know, Faces of Death comes up pretty regularly in like disturbing cinema circles as a more just like notorious thing. Um, I had never seen it going into this what would be double feature. This movie's awful.
Yeah. It's
It's
genuinely
not
awful.
good at it's there
I don't
is
even know if it
very
qualifies as a movie.
it doesn't feel like a movie most of the time. Um, it is very little redeeming qualities to it whatsoever. In fact, there's points where this movie just feels like a straight up educational program,
Yeah. I mean, it was
and
made
it
by a
gets boring.
documentarian. Yeah.
And it gets boring. There is things that are touched on in this movie that I'm just like, why are we talking about this?
I mean, it literally just feels like a slog. It feels like it's homework, but at the same time, it's like, what if the homework was messed up?
Yeah. So what do I even want to? Yeah. I guess at the beginning, like they're doing an autopsy, and I thought the sudden editing over the credits with the rise of the score, very creeper score is pretty effective. Um, we get the setup of and it's a legit concept. Like, all right, we're just gonna have this doctor talk about all the faces of death that he's kind of seen around the world, um, and it very much just leans educational programming through a lot of this. Um,
Like
you
messed up
get,
the Dark Discovery Channel or something.
yeah. There's some moments of like unexpected humor, like during like when the alligator attack was happening, and it cuts to the kids. So
Yeah.
funny. I died laughing. So
I think some of that
hilarious.
stuff was just snuck in by the director, just thinking he was being a little cheeky.
Yeah. You have the iconic, I don't even say iconic, but it's like one of the best, I guess, a quote unquote best moments of you get that electrical chair and you get the blood like seeping from the
Yeah.
eyes, which is cool. Um,
Interesting imagery.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's kind of funny at points. Um, you just reach a point and it's like probably just halfway where it's just like it's basically just going from one topic to the next.
I think
And
about the halfway point, you're literally just like, and then you
oh
check the
man,
time on it, and you're like, oh my god,
there's
I
so,
still have
and
45
then
minutes left.
like not too long and after that, but like we're bringing up paranormal stuff, and I literally wrote down my notes. We're just filling up shit to run for the runtime. Like there's no
Yeah.
reason why we're talking about paranormal shit in this movie. Um, very interesting ending. Um,
Go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead.
like it sets up that like like almost a hopeful like start of a new cycle with the birth of a baby and like its mother, and it's like more hopeful music. um I don't know, it's interesting. I You can say it might lean hopeful, but like also too it might also mean, oh, you know this birth is like a thing to almost celebrate, but like there's also many ways that you could die in this lifetime.
About to say, I mean, it's like it can be a double-edged sword with the hopeful thing, because it's like, yeah, look, we're facing death, and look, there's a baby born, but guess what? The baby has to die at some point. It's
And
like,
guess
oh,
what? It could be any of these things.
it's like, oh,
which
okay.
which I kind of, I don't know, if that's what they were like truly going for, I think kind of smart and kind of funny, and I like that. Um,
It's dark.
yeah. Um,
But I think this movie, I think Faces of Death is mostly just kind of iconic just because of really just the talk around it. Like its reputation is the only
yeah.
reason it's iconic, and it's because all the
It-
disturbing cinema people and all the people like from the VHS days,
yeah.
everyone was like, "Dude, have you seen this movie? Like when it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
banned, like you have to check this out. You have to check this out." And then like
And it was
once
a thing
it
where like you
became,
had to get it on physical VHS to even
yeah. And then once
Um,
the internet came along, people were able to digitize it, and then it was another whole kind of resurgence where people were like,
yeah.
"Oh, look at this! This movie was banned, and now you can see it online on like this website or whatever." And
Yeah.
it just kind of took on a life of its own, which kind of leads to the interesting part about the remake with this director who was approached by producers who said, "We have the IP for Faces of Death.
Yeah.
What would you want to do anything with that?" And he was just like, "I did not know that was an IP that you could have. Why do you guys have that?" He was like, "It's not
Yeah.
even a good movie. Why would you? How would you make a legacy sequel to it?" And they're like, "We don't know. You can do whatever you want with it." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And so that's how we got Faces of
So
Death 2026.
so right before we get to that, um, it's very interesting that there's like five sequels to
Yeah.
Faces of Death, and it's like a movie that should have been dead in the water from a movie perspective. Like, there's no reason for a sequel
And I've
from
just
a
heard the
just,
sequels get worse and worse.
and that's insane because we're sitting at a 1.5 star movie at the max for this one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you
um,
got to be by like -1.5 by the time you get to the fourth or fifth one.
yeah. Um, so kind of going into the release of the newest one, I remember just seeing reports, oh, we're getting a Faces of Death reboot. And I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck are they gonna make a reboot to Faces of Death in 2026?
That's also a legacy sequel.
Like, that doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't.
Um, then it released, and guess what? People said, this is kind of cooking.
It
And
cooks.
Addison saw it, said, this cooks.
It cooks. It also has
I,
one of the best oneers in
oh,
2026. That one
unbelievable.
shot is incredible.
And then I saw Faces of Death. It cooks. This movie is so smart at how it approaches, um, how it approaches like how to actually make a legacy sequel out of that. And the concept is truly best case scenario.
Yeah, it is.
We have Margot, who is played by Barbie Ferreira, and she is a content moderator for this company called Kino. And so basically, her job all day is to look at content and flag it for any possible nudity, graphic violence, etc. All that stuff. That's her job all day, is watching all this content and flagging it. Seems to need to be flagged, allowed on the platform, not, etc. Um, you have her come across some videos of someone using old audio and inspiration from the old Faces of Death movie, the OG, to recreate new killings. And she has no idea if these are real or not. And she has no idea what to do with them. Um, it turns out
Already
that
a
she has,
great setup.
yeah,
Like the
perfect
fact
setup.
that you to bring it into the modern digital age, to basically have it on some TikTok app,
Yep.
and you deal with a content moderator, which, funny thing, the director was actually a content moderator at one point. So that's why this is in the movie. Like, he got this idea because
Awesome.
he was like, it's the scariest part to me about seeing some of the videos that I saw that I had to flag was I was more scared of who is the person that would be posting this. And
Yeah.
that was what he was inspired by. And it's just very interesting to sit there and be like, okay, if someone's going to do Faces of Death now, and it was going to be a mono death thing, wouldn't it be interesting if somebody was reenacting or remaking death scenes for social media clout to get
Yeah.
platforms? It's like, that is an interesting idea.
Literally the perfect concept. Um, so Margot also has a past. Um, her and her friend one time wanted to do a TikTok dance type thing on the train tracks for a challenge, and guess what? Her friend ended up getting stuck, killed on camera, and went viral. So she has to live with that for the rest of her life. And so when it comes to the point where like she's seeing these videos of these reenactments, and like so the first one you see is the electric chair reenactment of the electric chair, and I do like how it's all the same audio. I mean, this is like one of the positives of me watching Faces of Death for the first time so close to this. Is like I
Mm-hmm.
was able to tell immediately, like, oh, this is the exact audio, and this is the exact way that this was, played out in the first movie, in the original movie.
Yeah, he's just
Um,
modernizing it, basically.
yeah. So he starts with the electric chair, um, and she just has no idea how to handle it. She goes to her boss, and he said, um, probably fake, and like so, allows it for the first one.
Well, the funny reasoning that he puts behind it, though, too, is that they assume that it's like a fake kind of short film, and that
Yeah,
fake
like
snuff videos
yes,
are
yeah,
really
that's what I was
popping
gonna
right
say.
now.
It's all the rave right now. So it's
Yeah,
like,
and he
yeah,
was like, so just let it fly through. This kind of horror is popping off right now online. And it's like, so they assume that it's kind of like a movie production that's meant to be kind of vertical, like content, which is also kind of interesting that he's like, nah, let it through just because it'll get views.
the exact quote is DIY horror is tracking right now. Support the trend.
DIY
That's
horror.
all. That's also the one thing I did not expect is this movie's pretty funny.
It does have some good humor, and it's very culturally relevant.
Like at her desk, like as she's like watching like gore videos and sex, at her desk she has a sticker that says "I love my job," and it's like, and like like she has like the one sequence where she's like talking to all these new hires, and one of them brought brought up burnout, and like obviously it's just hilarious. Like how can you not get burnt out? Like literally just 8 hours a day watching the most heinous content and having to just click the same button all
Yeah, and
day.
you got to see Charlie XCX too.
Oh, dude, when Charlie XCX pops up in this movie, I was like, Charlie XCX, what? I had no idea she was in it.
I love how
So
she's just getting zooted on the roof, and she was like,
yeah,
you can't do that, your job." And she's like, "That's the only way I can do this fucking job." What are you talking about?
yeah. Um, and like right before you meet her, like there's a sign that says "No fucking in the stairwell," and there's people having sex in the stairwell, and that's how she meets Charlie XCX on the roof. Um, so at that point, I was like, dude, I just love where this movie's going so far. It's been great. Um, so she sees the second video that pops up, um, and this one is recreating the monkey death
Getting hit in
at
the
the
head, yeah.
restaurant from the OG, and this time it's just an actual person getting their head bashed in and like their skull peeled back. Um, and she's just like, this is the second one that I've seen, and no one's taking her seriously.
And she
Um,
notices that it's made by the same guy, even though it's being uploaded by
yeah,
different accounts because it has the
it's
same
very
audio
stylized.
and it
Yeah,
has the red tape because he uses
the
red tape over all their
mannequins
mouths and
in the
stuff and the
background.
mannequins. Yeah, like she knows it's the same guy.
Um, so she gets the idea where this is one thing that could have gone bad, but it works. Her going to Reddit and basically up like linking these videos and like, is this real? And her a rule for a job is she's not supposed to talk about anything that she sees outside of work.
Yeah, she
Um,
has an NDA clause.
yeah. So, and I like the responses that she gets, where like obviously people are like, oh yeah, totally fake, but like I can't remember what the one guy said, like, oh, I'm a surgeon or whatever. Those blood splatters are 100% real.
Yeah, because he was saying the splatter patterns just look way too realistic for it to be fake. But I mean,
Yeah,
and I think from under any other director, the whole Reddit thread thing would kind of be really bad. Like it
and
would not work.
very tropey to the point of just like you're just rolling your eyes as soon as it. So I was like, as soon as that popped up, I was kind of nervous. But I was like, okay, we used it in a effective way that makes sense
And then
to
it comes
the
back
character and the
too.
story,
And when it comes
and it
back, it's even
works,
better. Yeah,
and it
it's like
work.
one of the best
And
things.
so, she gets to the point where she has to go to the police, and the police immediately don't take her seriously because she was a part of the video that went viral where a friend died. So
They
they
think
think
that
that,
she's crying wolf,
yeah. Um,
and then she gets
so
fired from her job.
gets fired.
Well, it's
Um,
actually she gets fired because she downloads the files off the server so she can actually look at the metadata and see if she can
yep,
track the exact locations of the videos. She does it off the boss's computer. He finds out that she smuggled a hard drive out with files on it against company policy. She gets fired, and of course, at this point, we have been introduced to our killer, played by Dacre, and he is kind of like, I don't know, like a Manhunter, Hannibal Lecter, OCD kind of killer, I guess. I don't
I
really know
really
how you.
liked his performance.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably my favorite part of the movie. I think his performance is incredible, and the way that he has like he does these ticks where he has to touch his fingers, he has to touch certain fabrics, and then he has to
Yeah,
wear contacts and like clean everything when he's doing it. But basically, we get introduced to him, and then we find out that he is kind of onto the fact that someone might be tracking him,
picking up on, yeah,
picking up on his videos and stuff, and he's worried that he might get caught because he's kidnapping people and mostly trying to get like influencers or anyone else that catches his attention to do
yeah,
these things too. And so he actually stumbles upon the Reddit thread after Barbie gets fired.
yeah,
And he actually works at an electronics store where he was able to hack into the
and
server and he is
also
able to
very,
track the
yeah,
IP address from the thread. And you get the best split screen ever where her and her roommate are looking at the computer, typing up questions, trying to figure stuff out and link stuff to him while he is actively tracking their IP
yeah,
address. And it's like that
yeah,
is how you use a split screen.
yeah, and it's not long after where you have he tracks her down and goes to kidnap her.
Which is the best. This is the oneer,
Yeah,
that one shot that
that's
I
you get
think
the
is
wonder right after.
it's the best fucking one
Break
shot
down
of
the
2026.
break down the
Maybe.
break down the wonder for us.
Well, it's crazy because it starts off in her apartment, which I think is on the second or third floor,
Yeah,
and I guess the camera is on a crane, if I had to guess. But they go from the crane up on the third story or second story down to the car that Dacre is in being parked, and then he gets out, and it comes down, tracks to his car, and then it follows him out of the car, and then I guess it gets taken off the crane at some point and goes
yeah,
handheld, and is following him track through the building to get up to her door to then like pick lock, and then once he gets in there, it goes through the wall into their apartment and tracks him as he kills her roommate, and then she doesn't know that the roommate's been killed, and then she gets got, basically. And it's one of those things where, like,
Unbelievable.
as soon as it started, I was like, "What movie am I watching?" Like, we went from a split screen to like this amazing wonder that's like borderline Spielberg Crane level, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What is happening?" And this is all in a Faces of Death remake. Like, like this is actually like next level filmmaking that we're seeing in a movie that most people would probably never suspect
I
on
mean,
a technical level.
shout out Daniel Goldhaber,
Yeah, Goldhaber.
Goldhaber,
Yeah,
Goldhaber,
and his
and
his other movie, How to Blow Up a Pipeline, is really good too.
then Isaac Bauman, the cinematographer. So like, yeah, they're absolutely cooking. Like, I I remember you telling me like, get ready for the winner. And that happens. I'm just like, dude, how? This is so damn awesome. And it's like,
Insane.
that's kind of like one of those things where like you hear like, you know, some up and coming filmmakers or people who want to get into film like, oh, I have this crazy idea how to do like this one take or whatever. Then, but this is one where like it feels like that, but like executed to the highest level. It's like, oh, you actually did that. You
Yeah.
actually did that. Um,
Like it's one of those things where I feel like all of his like filmmaker friends, if he did like a family and friends screening, like showing
yeah,
them that, they probably all just looked over at him and were just like,
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely.
incredible,
Especially the people
incredible.
who understand filmmaking and everything, they probably like, dude,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
I would immediately run up to him and be like, "How did you do that? Just tell me right now."
the during the during that the the mirror reflection after the lights went out.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? That was one of the best moments, just in terms of just like directional wise, and I really liked that. Um, so she gets taken, and she's now locked up with other people who are have also been taken. Um,
Yeah, because what he's kidnapped a son and a father from a house and an influencer at this point, and then he has Barbie in there
yes.
now with those three people.
So let's talk about the one sequence with the news broadcaster.
Yeah.
So basically um he sees a this guy at a grocery store who gets approached. Well, not kind of gets approached, but like someone brings up like, "Oh, that's him," and it turns out that yeah, he's a local broadcast news broadcaster, and so follows him home and puts on like a like a dorky outfit and cuts himself, and he's like parked outside right when they're like unloading groceries, and he's like, "Oh, I'm badly injured. I need not badly injured, but can I get a bandage or whatever?" So he gets let in because the broadcaster just wants to help, um, and they're being super friendly to each other, and it's like one of those things too where like the broadcaster guy is nice on his own, but it's like also it's a nice change of pace that just a normal guy doesn't know who he is, and he's just apparently he's in the neighborhood, so he's like, let's have you want a beer or whatever, and like let's get to know each other a little bit.
And you can
Um,
see Dacre's kind of like, you can see his demeanor breaking slightly. Like he's getting less and less social
yeah,
the more
yeah,
he's in there.
yeah, for sure. Um, so he finds his like his the news broadcaster son is also home. So he naturally finds a way out to kind of leave the situation for the moment being, takes his keys, the guy's keys. Um, and when he comes back in, so he cuts off all the power. So like the dad's like, scrambling breaker box. Son upstairs, headphones, doesn't know what the fuck's going on, not responding, whatever. Um, the attic reveal,
Yeah.
one of the best suspenseful moments in this movie when he's like walking
It's
past the
crazy.
attic and he's just hanging in the attic. So good.
It's so
Um,
insane how this movie goes from like moments of feeling like cyber espionage to like suspense thriller to like slasher movie to then
yeah,
like kidnap movie. Like it goes from so many different levels. It's insane.
yeah. Um, then you have basically like the moment where he confronts him and he's trying to, kidnap him, and like, the son comes into the picture. Um, we don't see the son die, but son absolutely dies, right? Or
I
do
thought he kidnapped the son also. Didn't he take them both? And they're in the cage? Because he
I
kills the
didn't think
dad,
they
but or does he kill the son also?
he I think he kills the son, but he kept the dad, I think.
Yeah, because isn't the dad the one that gets shot
The
or shoot
dad's
out?
the yeah. So this is where it's like he decides with him he's going to reenact the shootout sequence with the serial killer from the OG. And I thought the entire shootout sequence with was awesome. I
Yeah.
love how he's antagonizing him the whole time. He gives him a pistol. He's like, "You guys shoot me or what? Come on, just do it." And it's like, he's getting all the things prepped up, and then like, yeah, he sets off all the mannequins with the guns and kills him. So I thought the shootout like recreation was so well done. Um, and it's like, this time Barbara Ferrera's character is trying to, um, get out of this situation. Um, there's also a point too where I loved how I can't remember if this was after or before this, but he's like kind of online watching his videos and like looking at the comments and someone saying um, that it like completely fake or whatever,
He
and like
said I think
him.
he said the production value of like a student film.
Oh
And
yeah,
he
yes,
was
yes,
so pissed
yeah,
off at that.
yeah.
He was like,
And I loved how he was using an alternate account to reply and everything.
yeah.
Perfect,
He was
awesome,
like, be careful, you'll
love
be
that.
next.
Exactly, and it's like, dude, he's actually right. Like he would absolutely be next.
And
So
then
I
you have the
love
whole
that.
and then what was like the whole you have the shower sequence with the influencer is how he kidnaps her, which is also pretty good.
I fucking forgot to note the fucking shower sequence.
Yeah, another like it's like another like slasher kind of feeling scene where he just grabs her.
Yeah. So Barbie Ferreira ends up she gets out. But you get this whole awesome chase sequence through the house and outside of the house.
His homage
Um,
to Targets, where he
yeah,
gets the rifle.
and she successfully gets away. Um, but he is already like two steps ahead of like how to handle the situation. So
The
he like
influencer
calls.
doesn't get away though, because remember he
Yes,
shoots
yeah,
the
yeah,
influencer because she got away with Barbie. But it's
yeah,
so crazy because he pulls out the like he kind of lets them get away. He's like playing cat and mouse with them a bit,
yeah,
and then he pulls out the hunting rifle, and
yeah.
it's just such a good, like such a crazy good image of him taking out one of the contacts to look through the sniper
Yes,
scope,
yes.
and
Oh,
he
I
just
forget.
has
That
the
was such an awesome moment.
he has the one red eye, and he's sitting there sniping, and he's telling the influencer, he's like zig
Yeah.
and
Oh,
zag.
dude, that's so good. His
It's
performance is so
insane.
damn well. The dialogue's perfect.
And
Yeah.
then like
Don't.
literally he gets the influencer, shoots her in the back, and then
Doesn't
Barbie
kill her yet.
no
Doesn't
doesn't
kill
kill
her
her
yet.
yet, and then Barbie thinks she gets away, and then he busts out the garage and shoots at her,
Yeah.
and then she gets hit in the side too. But she's able to get away, but he's able to
Yep.
get the influencer back in the house, and he like wraps her in
Yeah.
plastic while she's bleeding out basically.
So she comes back with the cops. Um, but he's the head. He already put in a thing where like she was trespassing.
He
She's
had called the
crazy.
cops on her
Yeah.
before she got away to
Yeah.
make it seem
Yeah.
like she was an intruder, and that's why he was shooting at her.
So they come back with the cops, and at first, it's not necessarily going wrong. But as soon as she like kind of explodes and tries to get at him, that's when the cops like, all right, they restrain
Because
her and
he
like,
puts back on the nerd
yeah,
outfit.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
looks all like demean and everything, and he's
yes,
just like, she won't leave me alone, and she keeps
yeah,
coming to my
yeah.
house. And
But
then
like
that's
she
when he like
completely
starts
ruins
yelling.
it when as soon as she tries to lunge and like try to get at him.
Yeah, she starts
Um,
yelling at him, and then that's when the cops are like, all right.
all right, we have to take care of her. Yeah. Um, and this entire time, the influencer victim is in the kitchen trying to get like basically around the corner to get the police officer's attention because like he has the door open.
And
Dude,
he's
this whole
playing
moment's
music in his
so
house.
good.
He's playing
So
music in the
damn
house
good.
where you can't hear
Yeah.
his like
So she's like trying to get around this corner and she doesn't, then he kills her. Um so damn good.
in the whole movie he's using these shots too that are super, I mean, fine tuned extreme low doses of fentanyl
Yeah.
to knock people out when he's kidnapping them. And so the police, after they detain Barbie from Dacre, they actually
Yeah.
take her to the hospital, and then this is when a pivotal moment where she meets a doctor that tells her that she has low doses of fentanyl in her system and that she's lucky to be
Yeah.
alive. And then she basically thinks that Barbie's an addict, and
Yeah.
then she kind of takes pity on her because she doesn't want to stay in the hospital. They're gonna have to release her anyway. So she's like, "Do you know what Narcan is?"
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so she's gonna get some Narcan,
Yeah.
and she goes back to Dacre and basically
Well,
mega doses on Narcan, so
yeah.
he can't sedate her when she injects him.
Yeah. Um so yeah, she injected herself. But like at this point, like we haven't necessarily mentioned it, but like he requests her to come back because she has a hard drive with his like the original files or whatever.
Yeah, because she took all the raw video,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
for him is aggravating because he edits all his footage. You know, he's very meticulous. Personality. So
Yeah.
he's like, I need my raw files, but yeah, he
Yeah.
basically wants the hard drive back, and yeah, we also missed the scene where he pours the acid all over the dismembered
Oh
body in the
my
bathtub
God,
too,
that
which
was
is
so good.
a great
So
scene too.
the prosthetics and everything gore in this movie looks great.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. It really is. And it's
Um,
just it's insane just the amount of the it's hard to explain this movie just because how many twists and turns the story takes, but you never really lose track of anything.
yeah, and there's also like kind of just as we're talking, like there's so many little details in the movie that go the extra mile to help this movie be more than you would even expect. Um,
The best is their final confrontation because that's really when you get the core of the entire movie is basically given at the climax, and it's insane
yeah,
how good it
yeah,
is, how well
yeah.
made it is.
Break it down for us.
Well, she mega doses on Narcan to go
Yep,
confront him because she knows that he will probably try and sedate her with the
yep,
hard drive. And basically, she gets in there, and he kind of has the whole trap set up for her, and he's gonna kill her. And he basically goes into this whole little evil villain tirade where he talks
yep,
about how she wants to know why he's doing what he's doing, and like what's the point in remaking Faces of Death, because she finds out it's Faces of Death because of her roommate that got killed. He had it
yeah,
on VHS because he liked really low budget, like
yeah,
kind of weird horror and kind of niche horror. And so she was just like, why would you do that? What was the whole point? And he was like, I don't really like Faces of Death. I don't give a shit. It's just if you remake
yeah,
something, you can get away with murder. And it's like,
yeah,
there you go. That's the movie right there. And
yeah,
it's just so funny that that's like the how he kind of the way he gives it. He was just like, I just needed an outlet. I needed a vehicle to get my content out there so I can be noticed. And that's all he cares
yeah.
about. He just wants to be noticed. And
Um,
then they get into basically a whole bound fist fight, and she ends
and
up killing him.
she kills him with her lipstick knife that she got from her roommate. Right? He's the one
Yeah,
who gave that to her.
I believe so.
Um, yeah, and yeah,
She films
she
it all.
goes, she films it all, gets his confession. Um, and it passes through the site's moderation. She uploads the footage and goes through moderation, um, and the all the comments are not taking it seriously, of course.
No.
I
Which is the ultimate kind of ending too, because it's like
Yeah,
satisfactory in the fact that she killed him and that she kind of gets away with it because she got his confession, but at the same time she is still trapped in the echo chamber of the internet.
and of people not understanding the situation and not realizing, oh, this was real to begin with.
Yeah,
Um,
incredible.
I- there was also like a little also funny thing that I loved when they were watching some of the content. It came across a video of like the gummy bear imitation of the killings. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, that would awesome. Um, so that was cool. I just think overall, I mean, that's pretty much, the film in itself. This was, you return to a movie series in 2026 that started in 1978 that had five sequels. None of those movies are good. Um, and it's like like the original never should have been a franchise to begin with.
It shouldn't
From
even
a,
been a movie to begin with. That's the crazy
yeah.
part.
So in 2026, you return to this franchise and you deliver the perfect concept. Um, Daniel Goldhaber behind it is incredible in the director's chair for it. The writing's good. The performances are good. Pretty
I love
much
everyone's
across.
performance in this movie.
I will say it's like I thought Barbie Ferreira was very good, but
Yeah.
I do think her performance is a situation where I could see a lot of people in this role. I do kind of wish that ended up being a thing where like, oh, I wish like, oh, only this person could have done this. I could definitely see other people doing her role in this movie.
Dacre is definitely the
I,
the oh
I
only
think
he could do this role, I think.
yes, I think because it comes down to those certain little things like that take the performance and take the movie to the next level. Where I
Yes.
completely agree with what you're saying, where he's the perfect fit for this, and he made it his performance.
Which
Um,
supposedly he got the role because he was the only person that got back to Daniel about the script and asked him, like, what are his motivations, and also, I think I'm the perfect person to play him because I was OCD and couldn't sleep under my covers
yeah.
on my bed for like 10 years of my childhood. And he was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, everyone else that talked to me about the killer was asking me about like how deranged, how maniacal he was, and
Yeah,
then Dacre was like the only one that approached me and was like, "I think he's OCD, and I'm also OCD, and I'm the only one
yeah,
that can do this role." And he was like, and that was basically what he brought to the character was that he said like he would only wear certain fabrics and dress certain ways based on the OCD of the character and how
yeah,
it like fit him, and that's how he like wore the clothes and how why he had to wear like the saran wrap under the mask and have the mask on and everything.
yeah.
I just think that's interesting. I think he stole the movie, honestly.
No, I completely agree. Um, so pretty much across the board, like, this movie hit out across the board. Hit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a legacy sequel that you can watch completely by itself. You really don't have to watch anything Faces of Death wise to experience
no.
it, but watching the first Faces of Death would only make it better. So,
Yeah. Um, ends up being kind of like a very nice highlight of this year so far. So,
hidden gem.
um, yeah, big time. And I'm excited to tell more people about this movie because I do think it's one that like kind of no matter what genres or anything you're into, I think this is one if you appreciate filmmaking and just yeah, good movie. I think you can like this movie for sure.
And I think it also, I think it's a testament to how I feel about movies right now, because it is funny that of everything that we talked about today, this is the one that's made the least amount of money.
Made the lead, and it's like technically the least. I mean, it's part of a franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like technically Backrooms is, but it's like it's the first movie. And then Obsession
Hmm.
is a completely new thing. So it's like out of in 2026, the out of the bunch that we're talking about, the Legacy sequel ended up being the best, but it hasn't been the most successful.
Yeah, the Legacy sequel that made the least amount of money, that was actually the best narratively. That's just it. None of it should make sense. That's the funny part about these movies
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
But it's, I guess that's just the way the dice rolls
If there's a
sometimes.
way shit goes, yeah. Um, yeah. So I mean, is there any other things about 2026 Faces of Death you want to touch on?
Not really. I just think it's great. I think people should watch
Yeah,
it. It's got some really cool stuff in it, and it's very culturally relevant. It's got a lot to say, so I appreciate it.
100%. Um, yeah. So we touched on a bunch of new releases today, and we talked about one of the worst movies that I've seen in a while. Um, I think next time we're for sure gonna do a Girl with Dragon Tattoo.
Yes, sir.
Um, so excited to do that. Thank you guys as always for watching and listening. After our little break, um, we're excited to keep on going here, and this was a good episode. Um, yeah. So thank you guys as always for watching and listening. We'll catch you guys next time.
Heck yeah.
Peace.
Peace.